What a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Austin is through and Warrington dominating. Great try from the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. He missed it! It's a poor lad. That is one sensational try.
Look out with a drop goal. Leeds gather round in jubilation.
He's hit the post. It's Wellesby. Wellesby might have got the try. St Helens are champions once again.
Now then, hope you're all well. We've got to the last round before the playoffs. I'm delighted to welcome to the studio Adrian Morley and from the Daily Mirror, Gareth Walker. And after the season we've had, I'm delighted to say we've got to the last round.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big deal for the sport, I think, at different points, as it was last year as well. And, you know, the players and coaches and everyone involved deserve a lot of credit for that, because I think there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes in squads that even us, the media, don't hear about in terms of what players are doing to get out there and the minimal preparation they've had for games. So massive credit to everybody involved, and they're still producing some fantastic action, aren't they?
Because let's be honest, it's been a very, very difficult year, hasn't it?
Yeah, very difficult, very disruptive, as we knew it would be if you looked at the results and what went on last year. So I echo what Gareth said. It's fantastic that we have had so many games on. It's been some absolutely incredible games. Magic Weekend was certainly my favourite by a long way this year.
That Saturday was superb.
Best.
2 games to go on point.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. And we've got the excitement of the playoffs, who's going to play where, and you know, we had the Challenge Cup, and then we're going to have the grand final next month. So everything to play for, really. It's been a fantastic year.
So it's the last round, and you don't actually need a calculator. The permutations are quite simple. And Gareth, it starts obviously on Thursday night with Castleford versus Warrington, and it's quite simple. Castleford have got to win to stay and get in the playoffs.
Yeah, massive game for them now, isn't it? And you know, the squads have been released today, and Warrington have named a strong one, haven't they? So any thoughts that they might be resting star players for the following week have kind of gone. So that's a big challenge in front of Castleford, but an exciting one, isn't it? You know, they've shown in the second half of the season since Wembley that they can get up for these games and beat the best teams. Went and won at St Helens, didn't they? And if Paul McShane plays, we're still not sure whether he will or not, then they've got to be a shout.
He'd be a huge loss, wouldn't he, for Cass?
Yeah, definitely. I think they've lost Oliver Holmes, haven't they, this week, but got Liam Watts back, so there's kind of 1-for-1 in the pack. But McShane's the man that makes them tick, isn't there? If there's one player in the whole competition that is integral to his team, it's probably Paul McShane. So his presence or not could be crucial to the outcome of that.
And if Cass win, and of course it is a big if, but they are odds on around 4-7, then Leeds and Hull KR shoot out on Friday night for the final spot. But if Cass lose, it'll be Leeds versus Hull KR playing for 5th or 6th on Friday night. And who would have thought it? At the beginning of the season, obviously, we've got Darryl Powell playing his new club for a place in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that situation's panned out, but I think, you know, I agree. Castleford have been fantastic the last couple of months, making that Challenge Cup final. The form was very, very poor up until that. They had a right dig in the final, and then since then they've gone on a bit of a roll. Dropped off slightly last week, but to be one game away from the playoffs after how they started the season, I think it's a fantastic achievement. I'd love to be at Weldon Road on Thursday night. I think the atmosphere will be absolutely incredible. So it's just for Castleford. It's a playoff come a week early, really, so it's sudden death for Castleford. You can understand why Warrington have put a real strong side out. You know, they want to go into the playoffs in good vein of form, but I can't pick a winner. I think you said Castleford are favourites, but yeah. I think it's flip of a coin, that one, but it's going to be a great game. I can't wait.
And if they win on Thursday night, they play Warrington the following Friday, but aren't they Halliwell Jones in the proper playoff?
Well, that could set down a marker then, couldn't it, I guess, if Castleford do manage to win. Warrington's interesting, I think, isn't it? Because I think, you know, with the Williams-Widdop combination, that's new this year. They didn't have a pre-season to work together. You know, I think they had some COVID issues when Williams first arrived that meant they couldn't train together. So they'll be using every kind of possibility they've got to build that combination up and get it going for the playoffs. So, you know, we're expecting a full-strength Warrington team. Like Adrian said, a fantastic atmosphere. It should be an absolute cracker.
And just regardless of the result on Thursday, I just want to mention Hull KR, you know, for having gone from last year bottom or second from bottom to be in a position now where they can make the playoffs, and whoever wins on Thursday, if they win on Friday, they're in the playoffs, and what a great transition.
And Tony Smith going to his old club.
Exactly, yeah. So
there's so many subplots to these lot.
Exactly, all these little subplots
to fill the newspapers.
I think he's done great. You know, just to get them where they are. They are decimated by injuries at the moment, and Ryan Hall, he's
a huge blow.
A huge blow. He's a world-class winger. So they are up against it, but as I say, I want to just give them a shout out and say they've done fantastically well.
And more injury news out of Hull KR as well, isn't there?
Yeah, just before we've come on, we believe that Greg Minikin's done his ACL, which obviously has an impact for Warrington next year as well, which is where he's heading. But in the immediate, it's a big blow for Hull KR as well, especially with Hall out as well. So they are definite blows, but Tony Smith and the way he plays can find ways to win, can't he, when perhaps other coaches don't. So
he can, and you know, we just need, from a neutral point of view, we just need Castleford to win on Thursday, don't we? And that makes Friday's game another playoff, another game of jeopardy, really.
Well, we wish Greg Minikin a very, very speedy recovery. You mentioned they find ways to win. Well, he found a way to win on Saturday night against Castleford.
Support on the inside from Mikey Lewis, and Mikey Lewis will get the first try of the night. Richardson back in field to Holmes, and Holmes looking for some support from Niall Evalds, and Evalds is there, and Evalds will follow up to score the try. Just inside the Hull KR 30, Richardson back on the inside to Evalds. Evalds give it to Milner. Milner puts the brakes on. Richardson, they keep this alive. Here's Metalja. They've got the overlap here. Jesse Seni-Lefeo, if he can give the pass. Darrell Alfords will finish in the corner. Oh, come on! Tongan international plays the ball. Mikey Lewis, one try to his name tonight already, and another one now. So then Massey spins the ball away. Richardson, on it goes. Shenton steps back in field, spins, lovely ball over the top. Evalds gets his second of the game, but courtesy of a captain's knock from Michael Shenton with Jez Litton. Abdul cross-field kick. Sean Kenny-Dowell challenging for it, he got there. The ball then drops up, and it's Parcell who's on the end of it. Now then, what's referee James Charles going to give here? He has been surrounded by players. Sean Kenny-Dowell is down there, Peter Metalja is down there. It's surely going to go to video ref Chris Kendall to decide how this ball ended up in Hull KR. No, he's awarded the try. Well, the answer could be a try here. No, that's good defence. Is it? Is it? Now then, is James Charles going to go to the video ref for this one? Yes, he is.
Just confirm the grounding, please.
Or is that the big red machine that gets over then?
Kane Linnetts.
That was clearly a try.
And it's given Hull Kingston Rovers the leads in this rip-roaring game.
Well done to Hull KR coming out victors. Tony Smith spoke very, very well after the game. Mossy Masoi brought the ball out with his kids, and Tony Smith in his post-match interview said victory was Mossy Masoi walking off the pitch before the game. It was great to see Mossy at the game, wasn't it?
yeah, fantastic after such a tragic situation with the accident that he's had. It seems to have created so many positives, you know, beyond rugby league even. That he's been inspirational in the way he's come back from that, and his smile, isn't it, when he steps out onto the field, everybody says look at that smile. After everything that he's been through, him and his family, he continues to inspire people, and he got the reception that he fully deserves, isn't it?
Yeah, you could see the players that were physically, you know, really emotional, and you know, Tony Smith said in his interview, he's just an inspirational guy. You know, how he's fought back from catastrophic injury to even be walking again, and you know, just inspiring the club. And he's going back, but he's done such a great job there. He's going to be sorely missed at the Hull KR.
Yeah, well done to Mossy Masoi. Real inspirational story, and going back to Australia. It was a big victory for Hull KR. Look, if Cass win on Thursday night, which the odds would suggest, then it's a shootout between Leeds and Hull KR. Hull KR will be going into this thinking we can do this, even though it is at Leeds. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, whatever happens, they've been one of the success stories of the season, as Moz has said before. They put a lot into that derby, didn't they, and came out on the wrong side of it and then lost a couple of games. You wonder whether they just faltered and stumbled at the final hurdles. And then they picked themselves up again, and what a fantastic result on on Saturday night. I like Mikey Lewis. I think he's a really exciting young player to watch. Loves taking the line on, not afraid of asking questions of defenders, and his performance against Leeds could be crucial to the outcome.
And if you look at Leeds, your old club, Moz, all right, I know Saints were excellent. Alex Walmsley, superb on Friday night. But Leeds at times look very out of sorts, I thought, on Friday night.
Yeah, they do. They've been, like Warrington, very inconsistent. You know, one week great, 1 week poor, and they did look out of sorts, very much so. And Saints were great, particularly Alex Walmsley, but they did look way off the pace. And if they're going to play like that in the playoffs, you know, they're going to be in for a bit of a torrid time, really. But I think last home game at Headingley Stadium, I think that they've got a big game in it. It's going to be a great game. Hull KR on the other hand, no matter what happens about this weekend's results, I think they're going to be miles better for the experience this year. I think they could be contenders next year to finish even higher when they get all the busted bodies back. But I think I'd go for Leeds on Friday, just in a tight one.
And it's an ex-Leeds man who's been doing a great job at Hull KR, isn't it? Danny Maguire.
Yes.
Helping out and doing your recruitment.
I spoke with Danny during the week. I played a game with him last Wednesday, and he's loving it because last year he was on like the commercial side and, you know, doing a bit of recruitment and this, that, and they didn't really know what his role was. But now Tony said he wants him as assistant, and he's absolutely loved it. And he said if you can't learn from someone like Tony Smith, you can't learn from anyone. And he's been enjoying it. Tony's been testing him and challenging him and giving him a bit of leeway, and he's absolutely loved it. So really pleased that it's going well for Danny, and it's showing on the performances. You know, they've got a great combination there, Tony and Danny. So yeah, they'll be looking forward to next year already.
Well, it was an historic weekend in the south of France with the Catalan Dragons lifting the league leaders' shield for the first time. They got beat by Huddersfield and made quite a few changes, mind, but we can see the presentation. What does this mean for the game, Gareth?
Well, for French Rugby League in particular, it's hugely significant. I think the game over there is on a real high at the moment.
Chucking Toulouse, yeah.
Yeah, you throw Toulouse in as well as a potential promotion team this year. But, you know, just a word for what Steve McNamara has done there. When he came in, it was only a matter of weeks really after they were in the £1 million game at Lee, you know, and that result goes another way. Who knows what happens to Catalan and who knows what happens to Lee. Since then, they've won the Challenge Cup. They've now found that consistency that everybody seemed to think you could never have for Catalans. And they've got a shot at the big one, the grand final, so he deserves an immense amount of credit. And
it's a £1 million game to a possible grand final in a very short space of time as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, there's a lot of the players still there from that game, and the good thing for me as well is the number of French youngsters that have pushed through this year, especially. Steve spoke about that when he got there. That was going to be a big priority, and you do hear coaches say that quite a lot. But it clearly has been a proper focus to get more young French Rugby League players playing in Super League. They've achieved that alongside finishing top of the pile, so it's just a great story all around this year.
Yeah, totally agree. And as a Rugby League fan, I want the French national team and the French domestic competition to be as strong as it can. When we have a strong French team, you know, that's more of a competition for the English team, the Welsh team, the Irish and Scottish team. So I think it's fantastic, great for the sport, and if we can get another team in, I think it's great. If we could have an all-French derby, you know, I think that would be absolutely fantastic for the Super League.
And obviously we knew they've now got a home semi. I think it's nearly a sellout. It's going to be on the 30th of September. They're going to play Wigan, Hull KR, Leeds. And, well, it's always been a tough place to go, but they've added the consistency as well, haven't they? You wouldn't fancy a semi-final away at the Catalans, would you?
No, and the week off gives them that extra time to prepare for that game as well, haven't they? So that, you know, they can put a lot of focus into that match for 2 weeks. So it will be a daunting challenge. You know, teams have gone over there and won this year, haven't they? Warrington won over there earlier this season. But that's a big challenge for anybody, and Catalans are in the box seat, and they deserve to be on that consistency.
And as a Rugby League journalist, what does it mean for Rugby League if, and look, they've got a semi-final, they've got to win that yet. You know, there will be short price favourites for that semi-final, whoever they play. But if the Catalans get to the grand final, what does that mean for Rugby League?
Well, we saw it with Wembley a bit. I think it's just the almost novelty element of it. You know, the fact that a team from outside England is winning.
Is it easier for your sports to, you know, get more coverage in the sports desk game with it, Catalan?
Yeah, they love any stories like that are a bit out of the norm because it appeals to people outside of the sport. So we're not just writing, you know, when you write for a national newspaper, you're not just writing for Rugby League fans, you're going to a bigger audience, and somebody anywhere in the country can pick it up and say, you know, wow, this team in the south of France has come over here and beaten all the top English names that they might know, being a casual fan. So it does make it easier in that sense, definitely. It's just a good sporting story, isn't it? You know, they've had their own adversity with COVID and stuff they have to go through that other teams don't on a fortnightly basis. So it's an interesting story, and a former England coach there, and you've got a genuine star player in Sam Tompkins.
I think he'll get Man of Steel, in my opinion. But
I think he's looking favourite, isn't he? He's had an absolutely incredible year. He's back to his best, you know, before he left these shores to go and play in the NRL. I think he's back to that form. He's been outstanding.
Don't you think a few people as well, on the back of that comeback win at Magic, if they do get to the grand final, and it is an if, you know, we'll think, come on, let's go watch Catalans in the grand final. Because that was such a good comeback at Magic.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, I think people just go to the grand final regardless who's in the final, just because it's an event and the rugby league fans and they go watching anyway. So I know the game at Wembley a few years ago, the crowd was down, the rugby league wasn't happy because the French obviously don't bring a great deal of personnel over, but I don't think that will be the case in the grand final. It's just they're just going to get the tickets before they know who's in the final, a lot of them, and then they'll just go. And it's the two best teams in the competition, which, you know, Catalans are one of them. They should really be there. And you know, I think as a neutral, I think there'll be a lot of closet Catalans fans going for the Frenchies.
Well, you will be if they play Saints, won't you?
Well, yeah, I don't know about that.
Look, without upsetting Warrington, Wigan and the others, Catalans and the Saints have been the best two teams this year, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the table, absolutely, you know, and you know, they've been the most consistent teams. They deserve to be where they are. But it's playoffs time, isn't it? I've just finished reading Rob Burrows' book today, actually, and going through all those Leeds teams that came in at fifth and weren't quite hitting the straps. So while they probably do deserve to do it, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, does it? And you know, one of those teams can find a run now.
I think
well, Wigan always come good at this time of year, don't they? And they finally, you know, stopped the rot and had a good win against Hull.
Well, I think it'd be great for another team to win it, you know, apart from your Wigans, your Saints, your Leeds, you know, look, it'd be great to see Catalans and Warrington there, you know, two teams, and whoever would win that would be a new name on the trophy. But all to play for, and there's all ifs and whats, and I can't wait.
Well, let's just go through the results from the weekend. So Lee only got their second win of the season against Wakefield. I mentioned it. Look at that. Wigan 10, Hull 0. What has happened to Hull? Lost 8 of the last 9, and they started so well under Brett Hodgson.
They did. They started fantastic, and people were talking about them as being contenders this year, and they just dropped off after 6 or 7 games, and they've not found that form again, and it is a bit of a worry. You know, they've got the squad there. They've had the squad there for a number of years, actually, without actually getting the results. So I think Brett Hodgson will be scratching his head, really, because he had a great form at the start of the year, and you know, only he can turn it round and find out what was wrong. So I'm not sure whether they're bringing any new players in or what. So, but if they can replicate what they did have, as I say, they were fantastic.
Wigan needed that, didn't they?
They did,
to cement 4th place and also a bit of form. Yeah,
and they're just finding ways to win, aren't they? You know, I haven't seen that game, but we saw the game at Castleford the week before where they really grinded out a win as well. And after a long run of defeats, just finding that winning kind of formula again will do them a world of good. I think they're still not playing as well as they can do, I don't think. But they've got another week to try and get that right, and then into the playoffs. And you know, they've got star players in their side. You know, if John Bateman fires in the playoffs, who knows what can happen.
Let's just go back to results. So Warrington beat Salford on Golden Point. I think that was important for Warrington. Bit of momentum. Last home game as well before the playoffs.
Yeah, it was quite emotional at the Yellow Jones. They farewelled a few of the staff and players who were leaving the club. And
well, Lee Breers, what a job he's done.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
And what a nice bloke.
Great guy. Yeah, tip me out to Breeze. He's been a fantastic player, but also a great coach there. He's been a great servant to the Warrington Wolves. But yeah, I mean, I thought Warrington would have thought they would have a bit more their own way, but Salford had a bit of a resurgence, and they got made to fight real hard for the victory. But you know, for the neutral, it was a fantastic game and very entertaining. But you're right, good win, and they want to go into the last game of the season in the playoffs with a victory and with a bit of confidence.
And what's the mood in the Salford camp then, Moss?
Not bad. I mean, it was always going to be a bit of a transition year with a new coach, you know, lots of new players. And I think it's took Rich Marshall a while to find his feet and, you know, to find his coaching style and the players to really work him out as well. But I think over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think we've seen some really great Salford performances, and you know, it's been probably a disappointment for the seasons they've had in the last 3 or 4 years. It's been a disappointment. However, you know, where they are coming together now, I think they'll be better for it next year. And yeah, I'm looking for Salford to be a lot more consistent, a lot more competing, a lot more. Yeah.
Huddersfield won at Catalan. They did make a lot of changes. They played a lot of young French kids as well, which was great to see. We've spoken about Hull KR beating Cass, and St Helens beat Leeds 46. But a quick word on Lee. It's been a difficult season for them, only their second win of the campaign.
Yeah, and credit to that group of players though for sticking together and getting another win. I guess they could have put their cue on the rack weeks ago, couldn't they? And there was a bit of off-field criticism of the group before the game as well, which might have contributed to the performance. You're never sure, are you? But you know, at least they have stuck together, and you know, they've not thrown the towel in. And, you know, with Huddersfield winning and Salford pushing Warrington close, those teams at the bottom, with supposedly nothing to play for, have kind of helped keep the integrity of the competition and make games entertaining for people to watch by performing right to the last round of the season.
Good win for Huddersfield. Ian Watson will obviously be thinking ahead of the next campaign.
Yeah, definitely.
He's lost Aidan Caesar, but he'll be looking to do better next year, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. It's similar to Salford, I think, there, isn't it? Where they've fallen below what they would like to have done this year, but they should be better for it next year. He spoke a lot, Ian, didn't he, about putting systems in place, and it wouldn't be an overnight thing at Huddersfield, and they need to change the way they approach certain things. So this year will have helped that. Next year it will be, you know, more or less totally his squad. He'll have had a year with them, and you would expect them to improve as well. Right,
let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. It's the final round we have got there. Well done to everyone, not just the players, but all the staff as well, all the stewards, everyone who's got us to this position as well, all the journalists who cover this game with such passion as well. We really do appreciate it as a sponsor. We've got to the final round. Now there's only 2 games to look at. It's Castleford versus Warrington on Thursday night. If Cass win, they are in the playoffs. Then on Friday, it's Leeds versus Hull KR. If Cass lose, Leeds Hull KR will be playing for who finishes 5th and 6th. If Cass win, it's a shootout between Leeds and Hull KR for the final spot. Right then, what are you going to be writing on Thursday night, Gareth? What are you going to be writing on Friday night?
Well, the other journalists will be upset if I mention the words golden point with either, because that's the nightmare scenario for us in night matches. But you can't rule it out.
Great for us to watch that.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You know, and it is exciting for us as well, as annoying as rewrites are within a couple of minutes. You can't rule it out with either game, can you? I think if Paul McShane plays, I just fancy Cass on Thursday night. Only just, I think. Friday, I think it's even more difficult to call, just with those couple of Hull KR injuries. I thought they were on that bit of a roll and would have fancied them. You know, Minikin and Hall are losses out wide for them, so that could be a golden point game.
Yeah, I think the fact that Castleford are at home, Darryl Powell's last home game, so I think the atmosphere will be incredible, and I think the players will want to do it for Darryl. So Warrington, they want to win, but it's not essential they do win, so that could play into their minds as well. So I'll go Castleford, close victory. And then on the Friday, I just think the injury list there at Hull KR will be a little bit too much. And again, Headingley when it's full is a really, really tough proposition. So I'll go for a Cass win and a Leeds win.
Right. Well, we know the top 4, that will not change. It's for Catalan, St Helens 2nd, Warrington 3rd, Wigan 4th. So Wigan will be at home on Thursday the 23rd. Warrington will be at home on Friday the 24th. And if Cass win on Thursday night, it will be Darryl Powell going to his new club in the playoffs. So basically, it's 3 teams going for 2 places, Castleford, Leeds and Hull KR. Right, so we will know who is in the playoffs on Friday night. And if it goes to golden point, it could be about 10:30 when we finally know who's in the playoffs. Right, when we get to the playoffs, obviously the Catalans and St Helens have a huge advantage. We've got the week off, we've got the home semi-finals. Can anyone upset the Catalans and St Helens?
I still think Warrington, if they can put 2 or 3 performances together and really click there,
it's their year, is it?
Team.
I'll bring him in.
But the Williams and Widdop thing, you know, if that works, they can beat anybody, can't they? The personnel they've got elsewhere on the field. So I think they're the most dangerous team outside the top 2.
As a final former Warrington captain, can you do it?
Yeah, I mean,
Because you'd probably be looking at a semi-final against Saints, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I did choose them at the start of the year and say, it's Warrington's year, we make a joke of it. But when they have played well, when they have got it right together, they've been the best team in the competition. They beat Saints, they beat Catalans away. They can beat anyone on the day, but it's just finding that consistency. And with the playoffs coming up and, it's jeopardy, there's everything to play for. There's no reason with the squad they've got, they can't really go all the way. 1 and 2 are favourites to make the grand final, let's be fair, but Warrington could upset the apple cart.
I mean, they'd have the home playoff first against Hull, KR, Leeds or Cass, and then there would be away at St Helens. Now, they've chucked in a couple of awful ones in the playoffs in recent years, but they've been at home. So could that semi-final away from home take the pressure off a little?
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago they beat Saints, were the best team all year, and they beat Saints away. Do you remember when they played? I think they played Wigan in the grand final. So there's no reason why they can't. And the week off, it's a really, really funny one because you ask some players, "Oh, I'd love a week off. It gives me body freshen up." But no, I would rather play every week. And some coaches do feel the same as well. Some coaches think keep the consistency, keep everyone match fit, etc. So that could come into effect as well. But just the exciting times. It's just I just can't wait for every single playoff game.
Talk me out of a Saints Catalans grand final then.
Well, it's just Warrington for me there. Maybe Wigan could come good. I think the bottom 2 teams that they'll have been playing playoff rugby for a week before as well. Can they build some momentum or will they be tired? There's a few questions to be asked still. I think Warrington could make the grand final, so I think that might upset you. Catalan Saints thing, but I think it is going to be exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of games there that are difficult to call. COVID and every team has dealt with injury situations. You never fully know which squad you're going to get every week. That'll all play a factor as well. I just hope we get some terrific games to end the season on a real high.
No, it won't upset me. After the year we've had, I just want some great games. And, for me, I mentioned it earlier on, Magic Weekend is just lit up the season. Because let's be honest, some of the games, it's no one's fault. But it's just lit up the season now, hasn't it? And now we've got jeopardy, which is what we want.
That Saturday night was just sensational, wasn't it? To go from that one game to the next, the 2 golden point. Anybody flicking over the TV channel who had any interest in sport would have been captivated by what unfolded. And I think that gave the whole sport a lift as well. The crowd was probably a bit bigger than people had feared. Rugby league fans got up there, supported the event in numbers. And it's shown that there's an appetite for the end of this season. There's no World Cup now, is there? So the big rugby league games between now and the end of the year are going to play out over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, talking about big rugby league games, there is the wheelchair grand final on Sunday, and it's live on Sky as well, which is fantastic. It's Leeds versus the Leyland Warriors. So watch the Betfred wheelchair grand final on Sunday, live on Sky, 3:15. Make sure you watch out on Sky on Sunday. Congratulations to the Barrow Raiders. They have won League One and they have gained promotion to the Championship.
So most of the players have collected their medals, now working their way into the middle of the field.
These things there, I mean, you say when you play rugby at any level, Dan, you make friends for life, and at any level, when you're winning things like this, especially at this level, when the pressure's even greater, these things, this is what they'll remember for years to come.
Club's captain Jared Stack, 2 tries this afternoon, collects a trophy from Ralph Rimmer, walks over to his teammates, lifts the trophy aloft. Barrow Raiders, Betfred League One champions for 2021.
Yeah, that's what they've come for. That's what the fans have come for today, to see this trophy be lifted. That's what the players have started out for at the start of the season, with this in mind. They wanted to make sure that they raid that trophy at the end of the season and get themselves back into Championship rugby.
Well done to the Barrow Raiders, and we've got the playoffs in League One to look forward to. We've got the playoffs in the Championship to look forward to as well, and we've got the culmination of the Betfred Women's Super League season as well. And I mentioned it earlier, don't forget the wheelchair grand final on Sunday at 3:15. I think we forget what a huge heartland of rugby league Cumbria is.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well done, Barrow.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and the title race has kind of been them and Workington jostling in positions all season. The League One playoffs is a bit of a sensitive subject for a Rochdale lad. They've just missed out, but you know, some of the other clubs in there have been terrific. Barrow especially, I've got a load of time for Paul Crary. Definitely one of Rugby League's decent men. They've had some great crowds up there because they've done some really good promotions to get people inside Craven Park, so they've had big attendances, real feel-good factor, and that rival with Workington has added to that as well. Now Workington are into the playoffs. You've got North Wales who've been flying and punched above the weight. Hunslet have kind of come in late under Alan Kilshaw. Doncaster and Keighley have got ex-Super League players in both teams. That's a really exciting competition, and it'll be interesting to see who follows Barrow into the Championship.
Right, just before we finish, it's time for Try of the Week.
Hello and welcome to the Our League Try of the Week. I'm Dave Woods. Let's have a look at this week's contenders. First up this week, and they seem to be regular contributors to Try of the Week, Featherstone Rovers. Tom Holmes at this time with a wonderful mazy run drifting to the outside of the London Broncos defence to score. Try 2, Hull Kingston Rovers against Castleford. Mikey Lewis started all this at dummy half, but Kenny Dowell and then Kane Lynette very much involved in the setup, but great support play from Mikey Lewis to get back in position. Try 3, but it's the other side that score this time. Castleford and Daryl Alforts, the man on the end of this wonderful team effort from Castleford, keeping that ball alive until they exploit that width on the right-hand side. Even then, Ryan Hall's chasing, but Alforts gets there to score. Try 4, and here's a bit of history. T. Ritson, the first ever Barrow player to score 7 tries in a game. At the start of it, Carl Foster with that wonderful set-up play. There's help also coming from Hakim Maludi, but it is Ritson, the star of the day, taking it to the top of the League One scoring charts. Try 5, Wigan against Leeds in the women's playoffs. It's the Leeds team that score here. Orla McCallion with a wonderful break, and the outstanding Fran Goldthorpe, one of a brace of tries for her in this match. And finally, try 6. Not a lot of points scored in the Hull versus Wigan game, but when they did come, they were at least eye-catching. It's going to be a score from Zach Hardacre here. Wigan, again, desperate to keep it alive. It's Gildart who gets the pass on the inside, and an eyes-up kick and chase from Hardacre to score. Get voting for your favourites.
Yeah, get voting right. Run out of time. Fellas, really enjoyed being in your company. Right then, 2 out of 3. Which 2 are going to make the playoffs?
I think Castleford and Leeds.
I'm going to go Castleford and Hull KR, one last Rovers win.
We should have 2 fantastic games this weekend in the Betfred Super League. And whether you're going or watching on the sofa, enjoy the Rugby League. Whether it's the Betfred Super League, the Championship, League One, or the Wheelchair Grand Final. Don't forget that, 3:15 live on Sky. Good luck to everyone this weekend.